Engineers are making more sophisticated robots every day. Technological advances in computers, motors, and materials have resulted in some of the most effective machines to date. They do everything from putting cars together to mowing the lawn. Just as man has made robots for a variety of purposes, I believe that God has made robots for His. I bought my wife Debbie a Roomba vacuum cleaner for our anniversary. I was hesitant about the purchase because practical gifts in the past hadn't wowed her. But when she opened the present, she was thrilled. Debbie had Rosie the robot buzzing around our house cleaning in a matter of minutes. However, there was one thing I didn't expect. Rosie offered Debbie the chance to order something around and not feel one bit guilty about it. She told Rosie which room to clean and when to clean it. She commanded her to recharge and immediately after to get back to work. Debbie made Rosie work her poor little wheels to the bone. Okay, I'm exaggerating, and I would guess that if I ever get a robot mower, I'll be an absolute tyrant. Rosie is a robot that takes care of the vacuum cleaning in our house. We have had similar machines doing jobs for us for some time. We rarely think of our washing machine and dryer as robots, but they are clearly sophisticated machines that help tremendously with other household chores. They are programmed and function to save hours of manual labor every week. Engineers are developing robots for other jobs outside of the home. Boston Dynamics has created the Atlas robot for emergency search and rescue. The unit is roughly human-sized and can run, jump, and do backflips. It is so amazing in its movements that many people don't believe it is real when they see it on YouTube, but it is. A mecha produced by Engineered Arts is currently intended as a novelty robot to interact with potential customers at trade shows. It has amazing facial, shoulder, and arm movements. Its face is so expressive that it comes alive. As the technology further develops, there are a number of uses for such a device. Imagine when engineers eventually put some equivalent of Atlas and a mecha together, we will be another step closer to Westworld. Robots that look and behave like us. There will be all kinds of uses for them. Just as innovators are making robots for various purposes, God has made them for His. However, He used a different approach than Boston Dynamics and Engineered Arts. He used biomolecules instead of aluminum and plastic. With amino acids, sugars, lipids, DNA, etc., He created robots that are just like you and me. They were indistinguishable from the humans they coexisted with. For example, He programmed Pharaoh, Ramses II, to challenge Moses. The biochemical robot's job was to play the bad guy against God's chosen people, the Jews. Eventually, after several plagues, Pharaoh let Moses and his followers go out of Egypt to find their promised land. It is only conjecture, but Judas may have played a similar role. Possibly he was created to betray Jesus by turning Him over to the Pharisees for crucifixion. After the death of Jesus, Judas threw back the 30 pieces of silver and hung himself. There is no biblical indication that he was God's biochemical robot, but there is for Pharaoh. It says about him in Romans 9:17 and 18, "For Scripture says to Pharaoh, I raised you up for this very purpose, that I might display my power in you, and that my name might be proclaimed in all the earth. Therefore God has mercy on whom he wants to have mercy, and he hardens whom he wants to harden. The Apostle Paul talks about Pharaoh as he addresses the question of God's ability to choose some people for salvation and not others. The scriptures say that he was raised up for the job of taking on Moses. It sounds as though God used Pharaoh for a bigger picture good, which Moses and his people didn't understand. Did God make biochemical humanoids for other purposes? Yes, I believe so. For example, in a previous video, I suggested that God supplied Cain with a wife since it was against law to have sex with his mother or his sister. I referred to Cain's wife as a physical human. She was not a conscious creature, but to Cain, she looked and acted similar to his mother, Eve. As a reminder, I called Eve a spiritual, physical human. God may have made robots more recently, too. I've heard many individuals with a troubled childhood refer to their mother as a saint. They say that, knowing what a hard time they gave her, especially in their teenage years. But is it possible that she was something more? Think about all the ill treatment your mother endured at your hands, and yet she took care of you every day when you were a child, and she did it with a smile on her face. Is it possible that God sent her to you with the purpose of raising you and teaching you about love? Maybe you don't believe your mother was a biochemical robot, but maybe you believe your boss is one. He is probably more akin to Pharaoh or Judas, a messenger sent to give you a hard time. And from such a pesky robot, you have learned a lot of patience. This is God's plan for a greater good in your life. Next time you see your boss, think that you may be talking to one of God's robots. Even though you may want to punch him in the nose, remember, this is God's creation. You wouldn't go into God's home and throw his handmade vase on the floor, but you would handle it gently with white gloves for fear you might even leave a fingerprint on it. You would treat it as priceless. You should see all people in that light. You don't know if another person is possibly sent by God for your benefit. So treat them all like they're doing his bidding and learn from them. As always, I look forward to your feedback. Please leave your comments and questions below, or contact me at my email address. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, humility, thanks, and joy.